Much, Mr. Speaker. I guess I agree with a lot of what my colleague Andrew Little has just said, but we disagree on one point, because he said that something's better than nothing, and I don't think that's always true. And in this case, we don't agree, and we are opposing the bill. My colleague Jan Logie has explained our reasoning behind that. I want to talk a little bit about what the Green Party would do about this situation. So, if the country gives us a chance later this year, we will be looking to address those basic needs of children in New Zealand, those unmet needs that currently are causing the environments that are driving this vulnerability and the problem that we're seeking to address. We would create a Children's Act with targets and measures around child poverty, and thereby measuring the problem, we would be able to manage it. It's a basic maxim, isn't it, Mr. Speaker? So measuring the problem would enable us to make some progress. Our Home for Life policy will provide a genuine pathway to home ownership and would address the declining rates of home ownership, especially amongst lower and middle income New Zealanders, while also providing secure rental tenure for those New Zealanders who are renting, and many vulnerable families are, sir, and also a warrant of fitness for rental housing that again addresses some of those conditions that drive poor outcomes. Our Schools at the Heart program will help with removing the barrier of inequality in the place that kids are 5 days a week at their school. Our hubs will offer disadvantaged kids healthcare, social services at school, school lunches, and connect families to their children's learning. Our New Zealand Power Scheme, Mr. Speaker, which we share with the Labour Party, will stem the flow of power price rises that we've experienced under this government, and also cut $300 for household power bills. And a solar homes package will liberate Kiwis from the rising power prices and deliver real sustainable energy freedom. We'll actually resource Child, Youth and Family Service. So it's up to the job of actually protecting children, because that under-resourcing, Mr. Speaker, has been one of the causes of failure here. Ultimately, Mr. Speaker, what we're talking about is meeting those children's basic needs. And Jan Logie has spoken about the hierarchy of needs that was developed by psychologist Maslow. And basically what that said is, if you're actually interested in children or any individual being able to maximise their potential, you first of all have to address basic physiological and safety needs: food, water, warmth, rest, security, safety. Until you actually address those factors, we're unable to deal with the more advanced psychological and self-fulfilment goals that we have for every New Zealand citizen. And Mr. Speaker, it was a cause of great distress for me today to hear Paula Bennett saying that she actually had not read the basic research that linked children's health outcomes. And in this country we have health outcomes, including child abuse outcomes, that are amongst the worst in the OECD, that are strongly linked, in fact, to the extremely high rates of child poverty. Those are the factors that we have to address. We have to address empowerment of the communities that children live in, and we have to create supportive environments around those communities. And that means addressing those factors I've just talked about. It means addressing poverty. It means doing the things that the Children's Commissioner's Expert Advisory Group told us we had to do: health services antenatally and throughout childhood, affordable, safe, healthy homes, stable, nurturing families, supportive communities, adequate incomes to meet basic needs, and engagement in learning from early childhood education onwards. Those are the things that actually will make a difference. And it was most distressing, I think, Mr. Speaker, to hear Paula Bennett, faced with the mountain of evidence from experts about the link between child poverty and those poor outcomes, saying that she could not, in fact, name a single expert who would endorse her view that the government is doing enough. It is not. This bill is inadequate, sir.
Louise Hubson.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. One of the names that's been mentioned in the House quite a lot today is the Children's Commissioner, who had this to say about the bill. Minister Bennett's announcement reflects an elevation of the rights and needs of children and signals a very welcome change in social norms